Hello everyone, it's Miss Walter in the library, and I am so excited that we're going to be reading again together for the One District 1 read. And this year the book is Charlie Bumpers and the Teacher of the Year. It's by Bill Harley. A little bit different than Humphrey, but good none the same. I think you're going to fall in love with Charlie and all of the crazy things that happen to him. So let's get started. I'm going to read chapter 1 and 2. Chapter 1, Disaster Boy. My dad always says, "Charlie Bumpers, your closet looks like a tornado came through and decided to live there." Ha ha ha, my dad is a riot. But he's right. My closet is usually a mess, and the top drawer of my dresser, and my backpack. I mean to keep things neat, but then something else happens. I had a couple of hours to do the impossible. My mom told me that I had put it off long enough. I had to clean out my closet before she got back. Or else. I didn't ask what she meant when she said, "or else," and I didn't want to find out. I'd already pulled out a bunch of clothes, like the sweatshirt with the Martian on it I thought was lost, a can of tennis balls, a Nerf football, 7 socks, none of them matched, the Christmas card from Uncle Ron from when I was 5 with the money taken out, 2 pairs of smelly old sneakers, and the dorky dress shoes I'd told Mom I couldn't find so I wouldn't have to wear them. Then I found my old soccer ball, the little one I got when I was 5. Playing soccer is my favorite thing to do, and it's a lot more fun than cleaning closets. I decided to give the old soccer ball to my little sister. She'd really like it. When she likes something, she squeals. And it's pretty funny. But I still wasn't done with my closet. I held my breath and went in. I was down to the second layer. I dragged out my second grade project on the solar system, now missing the planets Mercury and Neptune. The ancient tennis racket my dad said I could have, a wiffle ball bat with a crack in the handle, my Dracula costume from last Halloween, a Tyrannosaurus stuffed in a Triceratops plastic, a bunch of busted handheld games, 3 trophies from teams I'd been on, a broken kite, and, well, never mind, you get the picture. I took the wiffle ball bat and scraped everything else out of the floor of the closet. I had to get this job done before Mom got home. My brother Matt stuck his head in my room. "You are so dead," he said. "What do you mean?" I said. There's that closet. "Your closet looks better, but now your room is a huge mess. Mom's gonna freak out." I looked around. Everything that had been in my closet was now scattered all over my floor. "Where am I going to put all this stuff?" I moaned. "Well, that's your problem," Matt said, "and it's a big one." And then he pulled his head out of the doorway and disappeared down the hall. "Thanks a lot," I yelled. "Couldn't you just help me?" "You're way beyond help," he called back. "Good luck, disaster boy." Matt is 2 years older than me. 2 years older, 2 years smarter, he said. Matt will always be older than I am, but I have hopes that someday I'll be bigger than he is and pay him back by giving him the giant noogie he truly deserves. I'd almost finished hanging up my pants and shirts when I heard Ginger's special bark that meant a car had just pulled into our driveway. "Mom!" Pretty soon she'd be coming up to inspect my closet. I panicked and started shoving stuff under my bed. "It's me, Mabel!" my little sister yelled up the stairs as if I wouldn't recognize her ear-splitting voice. "We're home!" she squealed. "Hey!" I yelled back. "You want my old soccer ball?" "Charlie," my mother called up the stairs. She sounded excited. "Guess what? I found out who your teacher's going to be." "What?" I stopped stuffing sweatshirts behind my beanbag chair. I didn't care if things were a mess anymore. "You know who my teacher is?" "You have Mrs. Burke," she shouted. "Isn't that great? Last year, she was Teacher of the Year." And my heart stopped beating for a minute. Then it started up really fast again, like it was trying to jump out of my chest. It couldn't be true. There was no way I could have Mrs. Burke. Matt was right. I was so dead. Chapter 2. Stupid sneakers. My stomach was turning over, but I still needed to finish cleaning my room before Mom came to inspect, or at least get everything under the bed so she wouldn't see it. And I gathered up a bunch of pencils lying on the floor and opened the drawer of my desk to put them away. The drawer was a mess too. When I was pushing things back to make room for the pencils, I saw the old markers that I'd used last year. Maybe it wouldn't hurt if I'd stay in 3rd grade. Getting Mrs. Burke for 4th grade was the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. First of all, she's a neat freak. Matt didn't have Mrs. Burke for 4th grade, but he told me the kids in her class always talked about her. Everything and everyone in her class has to be really super neat and organized. Neat desks, neat notebooks, neat homework, everything. It was hard enough for me last year with Mr. Romano. He was one of the school's nicest teachers, and even he always said my desk was a wreck. I was sure I wouldn't last a day in Mrs. Burke's class. Second of all, she's really tall, so she can see everything. Her head is up so high it's like a lookout tower. She can spot a kid horsing around anywhere on the playground or in the cafeteria in 2 seconds flat. And when she catches you doing something she doesn't like, she has a scary way of snapping her fingers at you. Pow! Like a firecracker going off. But the biggest reason I absolutely could not have Mrs. Burke as my 4th grade teacher was this. She hates me. Something happened one day last year. A complete accident. And ever since then, Mrs. Burke has been watching me like a hawk. A hungry hawk. Looking for a mouse to eat. And I was the mouse. There was only one way to save my life. I had to get out of Mrs. Burke's class. I didn't care if she was teacher of the century. I knew that sometimes kids transferred to other classes, and that's what I needed to do. Maybe I could get moved to Mrs. Ladislavsky's class. Everyone calls her Mrs. L because her last name is so hard to pronounce. She's funny, and she's friendly. That's who Matt had for 4th grade, and he says she's the best teacher in the school. Or maybe Ms. Lewis, who was new last year and brought her dog to school one day and it threw up on Mrs. Rotelli's rug. Mrs. Rotelli, she's our principal. You'd think a teacher would have lost her job when her dog threw up on the principal's rug. But she didn't. I'd even be happy to have our school custodian, Mr. Turchin, for 4th grade. Anyone but Mrs. Burke. I was thinking all these things when my mom came into my room. She walked over and looked at my closet. Good job, Charlie, she said. You see, you can keep things neat. I just nodded and hoped she wouldn't look under the bed. You're going to have a great school year, she said. Mom was wrong. She didn't know about Mrs. Burke. On Saturday, Mom took the 3 of us to the mall to buy new clothes and school supplies. I knew this was probably my last chance to try and save my life. Matt was in the front seat. I was in the back seat with Squid. My dad calls her Squirt, but I think Squid is funnier. Mom, I asked from the back seat in my best polite voice, can you please call Mrs. Rotelli and tell her to transfer me to another class? What? She frowned and gave me a look in the rearview mirror. You know, switch me to another class? I know what transfer means, Charlie. Why on earth would you ask me to do that? Because I really, really need you to, I said. Don't be ridiculous, Charlie, she said. I'm not being ridiculous. I can't have Mrs. Burke. I'll die if I have her. No one has ever died because of who their 4th grade teacher was, Mom said. Charlie might, and Matt smiled back at me from the front seat. If I could have reached up without taking off my seatbelt, I would have punched him. I'm glad I didn't, though. If I had, he might have told Mom the real reason why I didn't want Mrs. Burke. Well, why do you think you'll die? Mom asked. Well, I might be allergic to her. You can't be allergic to a person, the Squid said, like she was some sort of expert on the topic. It might be her perfume or something, I said. She smells horrible and I'll choke to death if I have to be in her class. I doubt that very much, Mom said. Mom, please, I begged. I'm not calling your principal just because you didn't get the teacher you want. Anyway, you haven't even met her yet. I have too, I said. I saw her in the cafeteria and the halls all the time last year. She's really scary, and when she snaps her fingers, it sounds like firecrackers going off. Matt was grinning back at me, but at least he was keeping his mouth shut. Don't worry, Charlie, my mom said as she turned into the mall parking lot. When you get to know her, things will be fine. I think you're lucky to have her. After all, she was Teacher of the Year. Dictator of the Year, I mumbled. Matt butted in. You'll have to be in a play, Charlie. Her class does one every year. You'll probably have to be the bunny or something. I don't want to be a bunny, I said. I don't want to be in a dumb play. I'd love to be the bunny, the squid said. Okay, that's enough about Mrs. Burke, Mom said as we climbed out of the car. Let's go get our shopping done, and I don't want any arguing like last year. I didn't say anything else because moms don't understand. Little sisters don't know. And big brothers are bozos. I find the word bozo very useful when I have to describe someone like my brother Matt, who is a bozo. I'm sorry, but we're out of this style in black, the man in the shoe store said, holding out a box. But we have your size in white. I had picked out some really cool black sneakers with red soles that were on display in the window. No thanks, I said. I only want black ones. Charlie, these are the exact same kind, only they're white, Mom said. I could see they were white. I know, but I want the black ones, I said, and Mom shook her head. We've looked all over this mall for shoes for you, and these are going to have to do. You had white ones last year, and they are fine. No, they weren't, I said, but Mom paid the man, handed me the shoe bag, and herded us all towards the mall exit. All I could think about were my best friend Tommy's great new sneakers. They were all black, even the laces. On the way back to the car, my sister chanted in a low voice enough that my mom couldn't hear, I got blue shoes. I got blue shoes. Mom, I said when we got in the car, can't we try another mall? I really wanted black ones like Tommy's. I hate white sneakers. They're so stupid. Please don't say that word. Mom hates it when we say stupid. Sometimes, though, stupid is the only word that fits, like when you're talking about stupid white sneakers. Mom pulled out of the parking lot. I don't blame you, Charlie, Matt said. White sneakers are dorky. Everyone is going to make fun of you. Matt, stop it, Mom said. Matt shrugged. Okay, but I really do feel bad for Charlie. Those sneakers are just about the dorkiest. Shut up, I said. Charlie! Mom was using her I mean it voice. We weren't supposed to say shut up either. Matt twisted around so Mom couldn't see his face and gave me this evil older brother smile. Too bad I'll be in middle school this year, he said. I won't be there to protect you when people make fun of your shoes. And I stared at him and mouthed the words, shut up, stupid. Then I gave up and stared out the sign window. In a way, Matt was right. It was too bad he wouldn't be there at my school anymore. Even though he bugged me at home until I wanted to scream, he always looked after me on the bus or in the hallways at school, and his friends would always wave and say hi to me. Now none of them would be at King Philip Elementary. I would be stuck there alone with Mrs. Burke and my stupid white sneakers.